Soria. You're our hardcore fans. This is Sports Hardcore, and finally we are back with a podcast. We did some live streams, and I think we covered lots of stuff in there. But now we're going to do a proper podcast, and we will try to get some news to you. Now we can't. I think we talked about the news in the live stream from like India, Australia, and everything else. We're just going to be focusing on recent news because we've already told you that in the live stream. So, Sarthak, let's start. We're going to be talking things like India, England Test Series, Champions League Round of 16, and the recent match days in the Premier League. So, Sarthak, over to you.
Yeah, so hi guys. Sorry that we haven't been able to do a podcast for so long. Just been a bit busy with schoolwork and everything. But now we're back, and let's just kick it off with a banger. And let's start with some cricket for once. Let's start with the India-England series. So in the last match, where it was just like brilliant by India, they finished it in 2 days, and it is I think it was the shortest test match since 1932.
Yeah, so that's going really far back. To the days even Don Bradman was before Don Bradman even. So yeah. But here we had India. They bowled England out for 112 and 81. Not the best performance with 145 all out in their first innings, but they wrapped it off with a 10-wicket win with just getting 49 runs on the board. And it was finished in less than 2 days. Less than 2, not just 2, less than 2. So only one full day was played, which is very good. And best player there, Akshar Patel getting 11 wickets. This guy is something different. I remember in the IPL, me and Sarthak, before Sports Hardcore was created, we talked about how Akshar Patel, his bowling in the IPL, he didn't actually bowl spin. He bowled just slow with a tiny bit of spin. I remember, Sarthak, do you remember us talking about this?
Yeah, we talked about him bowling spin, but it was not actually, he wasn't actually a spin bowler, he was a slow bowler.
Yeah, but that's actually working here. He doesn't really use variation. He just uses either basic off spin or just bowls the top spin. It's very basic, however, it's very effective. He just bamboozles them without doing Shane Warne or what Ashwin might give, Ravi Ashwin might give this spin. We'll go on to Ravi Ashwin in a minute, actually. And it's really effective. And let's see his variations when he needs to use them in the future. He said, in an interview, he said that he doesn't need to use his variations yet. But if he uses variations, this guy could be the next big all-rounder.
Yeah, he's already been playing brilliantly in these last 2 matches. And hopefully he can just keep this up and isn't like one of them Prithvi Shaw players.
Yeah, not really rude there, but yeah. He's 27, so he's not a youngster as such, but he's in his prime years just about to enter his prime. In cricket, of course, your prime starts a lot later than in football. Here, your prime would start probably about this age. He is entering his prime, and here he could seriously, destroy every other all-rounder in India. Well, more figuratively, of course. Test before that, India won that by 370 runs, and this is where we're going to talk about Ravi Chandran Ashwin. What a brilliant performance! 8 wickets in the entire innings, 5 wickets in the first innings, and a brilliant century. Yeah, you heard that right. He's a bowler, or bowling all-rounder technically, and he got a century. Sarthak, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, now Ashwin, he isn't just one of those bowlers who literally can't bat. He can bat quite well. He's not exactly an all-rounder, I would say, but he's just one of those bowlers who can just bat as well. They have no problem in it. And he's a brilliant bowler, of course. I think he has the 4th most wickets as a spinner for India. After I think it's Harbhajan Singh and Anil Kumble ahead of him and someone else, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not very sure.
Not because he's look at him, but he is 34. He is by far probably entering his twilight years, just out of his prime. But still, in his prime, he was actually a really good bowler. A bit less of a batsman, but now his batsman side is also coming out. And we're seeing he's lighting up the stage again. Lots of other cricketers have had this. I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but Ashwin has definitely been doing it. He's made a comeback, and he's now better than ever.
Yeah. And now let's just can we move on to this test match?
Like the first one. Let's do
No.
we haven't talked about the first one yet. I think we already talked about the first one. Joe Root scored a brilliant double century, but as both of us being Indian cricket fans, we really don't want to touch on that. But let's talk about this test match. So far, India have been dominating, and we'll give some kudos to Rishabh Pant. I'll let you talk, Sat. Like, I think you probably would have your best opinion on this.
Yeah, so I've been watching. I watched the whole of Rishabh Pant's innings today, and he is brilliant. Near the end, I think he just got a bit bored and started wanting to smack. He just got a bit bored. So that's what he did. Doesn't sound too professional, but that's pure truth. Washington Sundar also brilliant today, 60 of 117. And not to mention, Punt. Once again, if you haven't seen, go check out Punt's reverse slap against Jimmy Anderson. If you haven't seen that, we'll leave a link in the down below. And if you haven't seen that, go check it out.
Yeah, I haven't watched this game, so I thought you'd be best to talk about it. But yeah, Rishabh Pant did brilliantly. I had to look at some articles. Might check it out on Cricinfo. Link in the description. Cricinfo is brilliant if you're looking for cricket, and other stuff might watch. One Football is a really good one. Link in description as well. We'll leave a lot of links in the description for you to check this stuff out. And yes, so enough on cricket. Now let's move to the beautiful game, football. So let's have a look at the results for the recent match day, and then we'll move on to the champions.
And quickly, just want to talk about Man City a bit.
Okay, sure. I'll let you. I don't really want to listen to this, but yeah, sure.
I won't use much of your time. I'll only be a few 20-30 seconds.
Yeah, so, because
I wanted to see Man City.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, yeah, brilliant. That's the only word you can describe him. Ruben Diaz, a rock in the back. De Bruyne doing great in the midfield for us currently. Edison's been doing quite well. John Stones, so our whole team's been doing quite well. Our attack, they've been doing very well, but not as well as our defense, I'd say. Cancelo's all been brilliant. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Now let's move on.
Just one last thing, Sat. Okay, Gundogan. Gundogan. He deserves a big mention here. Not really much of a striker in the City team. We have to be brutally honest here, even though they're brilliant. And they've just and Gundogan has literally just gone from a centre midfield, still playing as a central midfielder and doing all the jobs, and taking on that goal scoring role. What do you think about Gundogan? And this shows how much Pep can use his players to adapt. And I don't want to be rude, disrespectful to Jurgen Klopp. No offense, no disrespect, but this is why Pep didn't have as much struggles with his injuries. Fine, Klopp lost Van Dijk. Fine, Klopp lost who else did he lose? At the moment, I think Van Dijk is the only one that's still out. But with his without really a main defender, Pep, and without a striker with Sergio Aguero out, Pep has managed to piece a team together that scores, defends, and does brilliant in midfield. What do you think, especially with Gundogan at the heart of it?
Yes, Gundogan is the heart of it. I wouldn't say the heart of it. He's recently been starting to perform a few months ago. But he's been doing brilliant. And actually, Phil Foden has actually been acting sometimes as a left winger, sometimes actually playing as a false nine. So that's what he actually does. Not exactly play as a centre forward like Firmino, but kind of a cam role. So they don't actually play striker sometimes, but if they do, Hazy's plays. Aguero's getting very little game time this season. Yeah. I think the last time he scored was last year in January, so that's over a year ago. Yeah. So I get why he's playing Aguero. He's not playing Aguero, Pep. So Aguero. I think Aguero doesn't really have much of a future left at Man City.
Now, Premier League. I watched this. Let's go all the way back, maybe to when. We had these games, of course, where Man City had a brilliant run of form. Let's talk about this match day, shall we? I'm kind of living dangerously with my predictions in the fantasy. Probably we'll get another video out later. I'm not just showing the pictures. We might actually talk about the fantasy. We had 2 VAR controversies. 2 in the Liverpool-Chelsea game, which I was watching. and one in the Fulham-Tottenham game. So let's go first to the one in the Fulham-Tottenham game. I can't show you it, unfortunately. I might put a picture on screen right now. Showing the incident. So there was Fulham thought they'd equalise against Tottenham after Dele Alli tapped in a ball from Heung-min Son, and Dele Alli, we'll talk about him a little bit later. But it's kind of harsh, the handball rule. I mean, the player there in the build-up to Fulham's goal, there was a handling of the ball. But the player couldn't do anything about it. I forgot who it was. But he had his hand by his side. And they counted that as a handball and disallowed the goal. I think this rule is ridiculous. And they have changed the rule, but it basically has stayed the same. They not really changed it, just confirmed it. So, Sartak, what do you think? VAR at the moment. I'm not going to criticize VAR. We have to criticize the officials running it. I mean, this is why I can't be rude here, but English referees don't get to play in the continental games, European games, World Cup games, Euro games. This is why, because these decisions, I don't know why they're like this.
Yeah, like it's a bit biased, a tiny bit. Like, I'm not going to say biased exactly, but they're just quite like utterly bad decisions. But I'm not going to blame them too much. Like, I get it's hard and everything, but come on, you have to be doing better than that.
I mean,
you're basically the ones running the pitch at that moment, and you're screwing up.
I think John Moss is a decent referee. He's pretty good. But then you have Lee Mason, Mike Dean, Anthony Taylor. I don't want to be rude to them, and I say no disrespect all the time. This is why. I don't want to be rude. I respect them. But these decisions need to change. I know it's hard. I know it's stressful. But you have to get... I mean, sometimes they might get it right. But surely you would have read the rule book. Heat of the moment, even in the heat of the moment, you should be getting this right. It's like, I don't know, answering 1 + 1 in half a second. Most people can pretty much, like 1 + 1 in a second, pretty much most people can do that. How can referees not see if it's simply onside, they say offside?
Yeah, but also, like, I think it's just in a rule book or something that if a single part of the thing is offside, then they just call it offside, like Chewy Suarez. Sorry, not Chewy Suarez. I'm not going to go to 4-14s. Luis Suarez.
Luis Suarez, yeah.
So Luis Suarez, like his
teeth offside.
Yeah, so like
that means kind of dead though.
Yeah, but I think like there should be something like the hand. If it's over the line, it shouldn't be offside. Maybe like an indirect free kick. They can disallow the goal, maybe an indirect free kick or something like that.
Yeah, an indirect free kick or maybe a direct free kick. Probably a direct free kick is better because they actually have a chance to score the goal they should have got. But Timo Werner, I got to talk about firstly now the other two dodgy VAR decisions, both in the Liverpool-Chelsea game. Firstly, Timo Werner's disallowed goal. He had his armpit offside. I mean, firstly, how do you score a goal with your armpit? You don't lift your hand up and make the ball bounce off your armpit. Or you don't put your hand forward and score a goal. That would be disallowed. You can't score a goal with your shoulder, kind of. It's hard, but you could technically, but it's still hard. And it would, even though it would count. The only thing you could reasonably score a goal with is maybe your torso, your legs, feet, and your head. If those are offside, that should be an offside, even if it's an inch. If it's a hand or something which is illegal to score with, should be no offside. Goal should count. Sartak, we argued about this earlier. What's your stance on this?
Yeah, so like now it's irreversible. What happened, but from now on, like I know the referees will still keep doing this, and they won't stop. But then still, like, go on, we have to say a word about this. Like this Timo Werner incident. Like all he was trying to do is put his hand a bit forward and telling whoever had the ball before, and I can't exactly remember, to pass to him. That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, I think he was trying to communicate with Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech didn't get the ball, So even if he was offside, it wouldn't have counted. But it was Werner who received the ball and tapped it in. And Werner, he hasn't got a goal since the Newcastle game. Surely he deserves a goal from that. I mean, I know we shouldn't get emotions here, but emotions do run high in football. And surely the referees could have thought, well, he could see that there was no intent. It's very hard for this. Even the player might be lying, no, I didn't intend this, when they clearly did. And second one, the Kante handball. Now, I thought about this for a bit. Sarthak, I know you think that this is a handball, and I would agree, it is.
I think it's a clear handball.
Yeah, but there is a slight caveat here. I'm pretty sure caveat is what I mean, but he was running with his hands to propel him. And Firmino was like literally about 10 centimeters away, maybe a little more, 20, and then he just hit it. And clearly no intent. For me, it's a ball to hand, kind of a handball. But if it was a handball, it would be really harsh. But it was counted as a ball to hand, which is also kind of harsh. So it's like if you say one or the other, there's no middle ground, which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and also like it's kind of like what happened to I think it was Musa Sissoko in the Champions League final against Liverpool.
Yeah.
His hand was out, and then like it could pretty much hit his armpit. I think it was Sadio Mane who hit it. So that it's kind of what happened there.
Yeah.
But, like,
now that one, Salfak. That one is also a dodgy one. That was Sissoko pointing because his hand was in a very having your hand literally stretched out like that is quite unnatural. Kante just had his hand up when he was trying to run. Sissoko, he either was pointing or had his hand up literally on purpose. So that's also kind of dodgy, but maybe slightly towards the handball, but still, I mean, again, if you say it's not or is, there's a cause for either side. There's a argument for either side. There's an argument for either side. So, any other games you want to talk about? We'll just run through them. Man City running rampant against Wolves again. We don't need really to talk about that. Man United.
I don't think there are any more big games. They're most just like some play games. So, should we end it here?
Yeah, we'll just talk about just one more thing. So yeah, Everton scored. And Sheffield United beat Villa. 10-man Sheffield United. Burnley drawing 1-1 with Leicester. Everton beating West Brom 1-0. Of course, we talked about Liverpool beating Chelsea. Chelsea beating Liverpool 1-0. And I'm not really used to Chelsea beating Liverpool. And Tottenham beating Fulham 1-0. And Crystal Palace playing a supposedly boring 0-0 draw with Man United. And Gary Neville criticised him, and I think he has every right to. So
one just last thing, guys. I want to talk about the table for a second. I'll only take a minute of your time. So, like Man City, I think they've clearly run away with the league. And what do you think, Shura? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think they've already run.
I think the Manchester derby. If United win that just might be a little spicing point. If United do win the Manchester derby, if Man City win the Manchester derby, they pretty much won the league. If Man U win the Manchester derby, if Man United win the Manchester derby, the league isn't confirmed. It slightly tips away from Man City, but they are probably going to win the league.
Like Man City will still be about 11 points, I think it will be.
Yeah,
clear, but still, it will definitely spice things up a tiny bit more. But
do you think Sheffield United, Fulham, and West Brom, which one of them are going to survive relegation, or will none of them survive relegation?
I think Fulham will survive relegation, and Newcastle will go down. Newcastle or Brighton.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, if they continue winning a few games, like actually do that. Yeah, I think Sheffield United and West Brom are just quite down. Bad luck, Big Sam, but yeah, I think you're going down for the first time ever.
He could save it, but that would be if Newcastle and Brighton both go down. Then Fulham and West Brom can sneak their way up. But still,
yeah, so I think I don't think the current bottom three, but all three of them won't go down. I think two of them will go down, but.
Yeah. So that will end this podcast. I hope you really enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.